behind the scenes, what you may not see as a customer is when you go to buy that transmission, the technician, the service advisor, the service manager, doesn't matter. Somebody has to call in this claim to the warranty company. People think that when they have this warranty, you have to go to that dealer to get any work performed on the vehicle to have the warranty coverage. Today's topic that's on the chopping block is aftermarket third-party extended warranty coverage for your vehicle. Should you get one? Is it a scam? What are the details you need to know? We're going to talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back for another discussion video. Today what I wanted to discuss was third-party aftermarket warranties for your vehicle. I'm not talking about a factory warranty. You bought a brand new Toyota, comes with Toyota Care. You bought a brand new Chevy, they have a factory warranty. None of that. I'm going to talk about third-party aftermarket warranties. These companies are out there. I want to talk about some of the prices, some of the ways they get out of things. At the end of the day, you have to think critically about these companies and realize that this third-party company offering you a warranty is a business. They are in it to make money. So if they couldn't make any money and everyone is saving money by using these warranties, they wouldn't exist. All right, so in my time at the dealership, we saw these warranties all the time, and there's a lot of misconceptions going on about said warranties. So a third-party aftermarket warranty, you buy a used vehicle, let's say you buy a Ford at the Toyota dealership. I mean, you could even buy a Toyota from the Toyota dealership used, and they offer these third-party warranties. And the first thing I want you to think of is normally this is a tiered system. So they'll have like bronze, silver, gold, platinum, all these nice shiny terms, you know, to sell you said warranty. I would say typically on your average used car, these warranties can range in price from about $2,000 to about $5,000. $2,000 to $5,000 is about where they're at. If you have a Lexus, a Mercedes, an Audi, a BMW, dear God, if you have any of those luxury branded cars, some of these warranties can be, you know, $10,000. I've seen really expensive aftermarket third-party warranties. Now, the first thing that people have this big misconception about is you bought that car from the dealer and that's where you bought said aftermarket warranty, third-party warranty from a company that the dealer works with but is also not directly tied to the dealer. It's not the same company. People think that when they have this warranty, you have to go to that dealer to get any work performed on the vehicle to have the warranty coverage. And that's nonsense. That's not the case. Sometimes these aftermarket companies have a deal with the dealership, so maybe they waive your deductible if you get the work done at the dealership where you purchased the warranty. But that being said, you can go anywhere that you need to go to get this warranty claim fulfilled. That is, if they're actually going to cover your car. Like we just said, these companies, you have to wrap your head around the fact that these aftermarket warranty companies are a business. The only reason that they exist and stay in business is because they make money. So think about that. They're selling you an aftermarket warranty, right? And they would not exist if they didn't make money on this. Have I seen these aftermarket warranties save people money? Yes, I have. But the majority of the time, you guys, I'm going to start right off the bat by saying I do not personally condone or believe in aftermarket warranties. And that's not just for your car. You could buy a couch, a TV, a tool, and they try to sell you on an extended service or warranty plan. I think they're nonsense. I think you'd be better off to take that cash and go burn it in the ditch in your backyard, and that's about what that's going to cover. So keep that in your brain. These companies exist because they make money. Now, you really got to read the fine print in a lot of these warranties. Here's the first example that comes to mind for me. When I was at Toyota, we had a lot of farmers that had Toyota Tundras. Now, I saw this more than once. Okay, so they would buy the Platinum Mac Daddy warranty, you know, for let's say $3,500. That number comes to mind. So they'd buy this warranty that covers, you know, bumper to bumper on this truck. They should be good, right? Well, where does a farmer work with his truck? Next to grain silos, in the field, outside. That's where these are. You know, maybe in an old silo, anything like that is where this is. I had a couple Tundras. This didn't just happen once or twice. I'd say probably 5 times I saw this. Farmers would bring in their Tundras and mice, rodents, whatever the case may be, chewed on the engine harness for the vehicle. So now you're taking off the intake manifold, you're doing all this diagnosis to find the broken wire, stuff like that. and they would be madder than hell because we'd call in the warranty, and that is an external factor coming in and affecting the vehicle. They would call it an act of God. It's not the vehicle's fault that a mouse chewed on the wire, and primarily I agree with that. But when you're buying this warranty and you spend thousands of dollars and you're told it covers bumper to bumper on my vehicle, and then you find out that, you know, a tree fell on it, a mouse chewed on a wire, and that's an act of God, and it's not going to be covered by your warranty. You bought this thing and were sold this bumper to bumper warranty on the premise that you'll never have to worry about anything at all. And that, you know, that goes into the sales pitch on these warranties and all of that sort of thing. But that's just one example. You know, these companies are in it to make money, and they're going to look for ways to get out of covering things on your vehicle. Maybe a better example would be about 6 months ago. I have a customer with a nice newer 1500 GM truck, right? If you know anything about these trucks, now this one is a 16, it's 2025, so it's 9 years old, loaded Mac Daddy truck. These GM trucks, the oil cooler lines, the transmission cooler lines, I'm convinced come leaking from the factory. And this one, they were pissing, guys. I mean, tranny fluid all over the skid shield, dripping on the ground. Same with the oil cooler lines. Messy job, lines are expensive, there's some labor involved there. So anyway, this customer had a powertrain warranty, which means engine, transmission, that stuff should be covered, right? And this was his third-party warranty. So he calls it in, and they tell him they're not going to cover it because those are accessory lines. Okay, you have a powertrain warranty, engine, transmission, transmission cooler lines, oil cooler lines. Those directly have an effect on the engine and the transmission, but this is what I mean. They find these loopholes so that they don't have to cover it. So anyway, he fought with them for a little bit and ended up paying the whole thing out of pocket because they deemed that they weren't going to pay for anything that was a fluid line because it's an accessory piece of the vehicle. So I don't know about you, but if I spent $3,000 on this warranty and it covers powertrain and engine oil is directly related to the engine and transmission fluid is directly related to the transmission, and now I figure out that it's not going to be covered, this is just one of the many ways that these companies get out of these things. And we have another example with that truck here in a little bit. All right, so let's talk about an instance where the warranty actually saved you some money. And a lot of times, you guys, when you finance your car, this warranty, this, you know, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 is going to be built into the payments on your vehicle. So a lot of times you don't even realize that you're paying for it, but at the end of the day, it is going to be another $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 that you're paying on the purchase of that car. I've seen it once or twice over the last 11 years that I've been an auto technician where an engine blows up, a tranny blows up, and even that you have to be careful with, because I've seen it where the person bought the vehicle, they put like 200 miles on it, and then the transmission goes. And the warranty companies sometimes will have a minimum mileage requirement to, oh, you just bought this? Well, the dealer clearly knew that something was wrong, so we're not going to cover it. You're going to have to go after them because you barely put any miles on this thing, right? And again, you just paid for this warranty. Well, let's talk about an example where the transmission blew up on this car. I can't remember what it was, used car. So the aftermarket warranty company actually did step up and cover the transmission repair, and the bill was just under $5,000. It was like $4,800. I don't remember exactly. Customer had paid about $3,000 for their aftermarket warranties. So they're like, great, it saved me $4,800. And it's like, no. Think about this. One, you have a deductible, whether it's, you know, $50, $100. Usually they're not very big on those, but you have your deductible that you have to pay, and you already paid $3,000, 30, you know, whatever it was, $3,500 for the warranty. So really, it's only saving you a little over $1,000, you know, and which is good. I mean, if you can save $1,000, that's great. But behind the scenes, what you may not see as a customer is when you go to buy that transmission, the technician, the service advisor, the service manager, doesn't matter. Somebody has to call in this claim to the warranty company. And I've seen this dozens of times. You call in and you're like, okay, I got this reman transmission on order, you know, it's certified rebuilt with a, you know, 3-year warranty, whatever it is. And the warranty administrator on the other end of the phone, working for this third-party extended warranty company, goes, oh, wait, so that's $5,500 for that reman transmission. You're like, yep, comes with a warranty, whatever, it's rebuilt. And they're like, yeah, but I'm looking here and I found this junkyard transmission with 150,000 miles on it. We can get this for half the price. And you're like, okay, well, it's a used transmission, hasn't been checked out, so we don't really, and they're like, no, we're not going to cover the price of this reman transmission when we can spend half the money and get this used transmission that the junkyard said is operational. That's what we're going to cover. So then you end up fighting with them, and you come back and you're like, okay, we're going to put this used transmission in your car because that's what the warranty company is going to cover. Now, I've also seen it where the customer does their due diligence, they dig a little bit, and they're like, no, I want the reman, or God forbid, I want a brand new transmission in my vehicle. And the warranty company will come back and they'll say, okay, well, we're not going to cover that. If you want to pay the difference, we will cover the amount of this used transmission because that's the bare minimum that it would take to make this vehicle operational again, and we are giving you a working transmission. We'll pay the difference. So we'll pay what that would cost for that used one, and if you want to go ahead and get a rebuilt transmission or a brand new one, you can pay the difference. I've been down that rabbit hole as well. And again, the customer's left thinking, what in the world? I just paid $3,500 for this warranty. It's not really a no questions asked, come and help me out and we're gonna serve you type of warranty. It is, how can the warranty company serve you but also retain the most amount of money that they can? Here's a recent example with another GM vehicle that came through the shop. Again, vehicle had powertrain warranty on it, and I'm gonna throw a picture on the screen here if I can find it so you can see this CV axle. The boot was completely ripped open. It was flinging grease all over the wheel well. The CV joint was clicking when you turned a corner, and it was making a mess, right? So I quoted him a CV axle, and the customer's like, yeah, I'm gonna call it in and see if my warranty will cover it, right? So the warranty said they would cover it, but they wanted to talk to me. So I get a text from the customer. They say, hey, sorry to bug you. Would you mind calling my warranty administrator and, seeing if you could figure this out for me? And I'm like, yep, sure, no problem. They just wanted to know, exactly what part we were going to replace on the vehicle. So I called the warranty company and I'm talking to them and I'm explaining the situation. And quite frankly, honestly, I'm surprised they didn't ask for pictures of the axle, but they asked me what's going on. And they said, okay, so you quoted the CV axle. Can we ask why? And I'm like, the boot's ripped open, grease is flung out of it, it's clicking, and the axle is compromised. And they're like, okay, so you want to put a brand new axle in it? And I said, yes, I'm going to put a new axle in it. Cold weather boot, we're in Minnesota, North Dakota, so I'd like to get the best axle that I can with a boot that's going to last and not rip open right away again, right? And I spend like 10 minutes on the phone arguing with the warranty administrator about why we're not just going to put a boot on this axle. And I'll be the first to say, you guys, sometimes, if the axle isn't compromised, Toyotas, I like the Toyota axles better than I do an aftermarket axle. So if it's feasible, and I don't like doing it because it's a mess and it takes a bunch of time, but you can actually reboot the axles, disassemble the CV, check all the joints, clean it up, put new grease in there, put boots back on, new clamps, you're good to go. You rebuilt the axle. In this case, the boot's ripped open, there's gravel and crap in there, it's already clicking. It does not make sense to reboot this axle. And I told the warranty guy, I said, okay, well, I don't know why you're fighting me so hard on this, because whether we put an axle in it or I reboot it, you're gonna pay the same money. And he's like, why would that be? Here's why. So either way, I have to take the axle out. If I reboot it, now you have more labor. So you still spent money on the boot, cheaper than an axle, but now that cost is eaten up in the labor of rebuilding that axle. And if this thing's clicking, the boot's dry because the grease flung out everywhere and the axle's already making noise, now you just slapped a boot on an axle that's already compromised. Eventually, I did talk him into putting the axle in, which is great because it got approved. But there's just all these steps, he's fighting me on my labor time. And I said, dude, I use ProDemand, which is, all data Mitchell ProDemand. I use ProDemand to look up my labor times, says 1.7 hours. That's what I'm going to charge to do the job, right? And then he wants to know where I'm getting my axle from, what brand it is, how we could save money. Could you put the lower tier axle in there? No. I want to do a quality repair for the customer, and he has your warranty. It says it covers this, so now you guys got to nut up and cover it, right? That's how this should work. But this is just another example of these warranty companies trying to get out of spending money, right? And again, they are a business. If they didn't make money selling these warranties, they wouldn't be in business. And that's the one other thing I wanted to mention, and this isn't very common. I haven't seen it very often at all, but these third-party companies are just that. They're their own entity. So if you buy a warranty, let's say the term is 5 years, 100,000 miles, whatever it is, it's like a 5-year warranty coverage claim for your vehicle, and that company goes under. Let's say you spent $3,000 on said extended warranty, and the company goes broke. They're no more, they're gone. You're out. It's not like it transfers to a different company. If that company goes bankrupt or goes under or is no longer in business, you're screwed and you just lost your $3,000. At the end of the day, you guys, I'm just telling you, I've seen aftermarket warranties cover things, I've seen them save customers money a few times, but the majority of the time, aftermarket warranties, in my opinion, are no good, and you'd be better off burning your money. Spend that money somewhere else. You work hard to make your money and save money. Don't get caught up in an aftermarket warranty. In the example of that axle that we just gave you, that repair was under $1,000. So yeah, the warranty company covered it minus his deductible, but he's still got a long ways to go to make up for the purchase of said extended warranty, and that's if they're going to cover repairs that it needs in the future. All right, that's what I had for this discussion, guys. Just wanted to go over extended warranties and, in my opinion, why I think they're a scam. Again, it's an opinion, but it's built off of me being in this industry for the last 11 years and seeing these things firsthand. At the end of the day, remember, these companies are in business to make money, so maybe you're going to think twice before you purchase that extended warranty. If you guys enjoyed today's discussion video, drop me a like down below, like and subscribe if you've not already, and as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.